He began to look then at this mystery of the Christ, this mystery of love incarnate from the point of evolution. And so what Teilhard does is he uses different language. Our language needs to change, right? Language conveys meaning wires the brain type thing. So we need to, in a sense, shift our language into language of dynamic language that is consonant with a world that's unfinished and unfolding. So he spoke of love incarnate as God creating, incarnating, redeeming. Now, you have to remember, he's a Jesuit. That's nothing against him. But he's writing in the mid-20th century. So what he's saying, I put this in different words. God shares love. God enters into that which God creates. And in entering into, God, in a sense, pulls together. Love attracts love, right? And so redemption is that constant force of attraction through the bonds of love. And so Teilhard spoke of this whole process as Christogenesis, the birthing of the Christ. The universe, Matt sort of referred to this yesterday, the whole universe is Theotokos. The whole universe, you might say, is a birthing canal of God. We're so far from there in our daily reality, but that's what Teilhard saw. In fact, he went on to say, Chalcedon, our doctrine of Chalcedon, that's a real gripper, by the way, Jesus Christ is truly God and truly man, one with God in his divinity, one with us in our humanity, without change, confusion, division, or separation. Doesn't that just want to vitalize you for new life? And you know why? It was really because all these guys were fighting. Really, there were such big political battles in that time. They're basically killing off one another. They said, well, this is a good happy medium. Teilhard said, well, there's a third nature, the organic nature of Christ. So it's not just divinity and humanity. It's divinity, humanity, and cosmos. The cosmos is being the third nature of Christ. The Christic nature, if we can use that term. So we can envision this Christogenesis as Jesus emerging out of the Big Bang universe. This process moving towards wholeness. And we're like, this jars us, right? Because our Newtonian brains with the medieval cosmology for our religion, we're like, what? Jesus emerges out of evolution? Seriously? Like, you mean the carbon in his blood is the same carbon from the stars? Yep. So, what we are saying is there's something about Jesus that is distinctive. He does come on the scene with a distinct consciousness of relationality, wholeness. There's an immediacy of the divine there. He's a new kind of consciousness broken in. And that's what we see with Jesus. No one around him, I think they liked him. I think he was a really great guy. But they're like, isn't this the kid with the parents, from Nazareth? And they're like, yep, it is. So he was Jewish. Jesus was Jewish. That's so startling to so many people. Are like, what? He wasn't Catholic? Someone said, no, Jesus was Catholic, but his mother was Jewish, so he comes from an ecumenical family. And so he's a Jew with a great, in a sense, there's an immediacy of God's presence. And when he's saying, hey, stop looking out there for God, or stop waiting for God to come, it's here. It's the now, right? Thank you, Eckhart Tolle. The now. Right? It's here. God is here in the now. That's why we're here. There's a power already present in our midst. Now, I do think with Jesus, no, just hold off there. Just hold off. There's something I think Christianity is such a radical religion. We've so domesticated the whole kit and caboodle. We've made it kind of into this logical argument. Well, those are the guys in Rome. And then we have sort of this kind of boxed-in formulas of things. But you go to the Gospels and you go, man, this is really boundary crossing all the way. Jesus ushers in something really new And I think Christianity is about a new humanity, a new planet, a new species for a new earth. And I've begun to adapt, don't get nervous, the language from artificial intelligence, the term cyborg. Jesus as cyborg. A cyborg is a cybernetic organism. In other words, biology can be hybridized, can be linked to or joined with machinic life or non-biological life. Well, Jesus is joined with divine life, if we can use it that way. You know, so there's something about Jesus, someone else said, he's like a mutation. Beyond biological necessity, certainly in the way he lived out this incredible outpouring of love. Jesus was a strange attractor, right? It's like you grow up in this milieu, like your mom and dad, and your family, and then you do like really, really crazy things. Like you go into the temple and you basically, like me walking in to the Vatican and saying, hey, I'm going to be Pope, all right? So just move over. And they're like, and what's a strange attractor? From chaos theory. It's a basin of attraction within the system that's different from the system that pulls that system over time into a new pattern of order. That is Christian life. We're not to be sameness. We're not to be homogenized into the cultural center of, okay, let's not get too involved. We are to be strange attractors, cyborgs, mutants. We should be people going, wow, they're really weird. You should say, yay, I'm glad to be a strange person because I'm living on the margins of the new. And that's where Jesus lived, right? He didn't live in the comfortable center. He lived out of the margin of the new. And how? He lived out of a deep inner center of love, what Beatrice Bouteau calls spondic energy, a spontaneous center of love that only each of us can discover when we make that inward journey. Consciousness and love. I think these are the two pillars constantly forming our existence as we're drawn beyond our own self-consciousness into an infinite horizon of consciousness, which is God. Jesus, in a sense, opens out that horizon of consciousness, God consciousness, to us. Now, here's the thing. Again, I think that, I think I need some water.